Good morning, everyone. Allie at Selkie Naturals here. So I'm coming at you again first thing in the morning. All I've done is splash some water on my face. Like I said in my previous video about Great Big Sea Mask, I don't actually use a cleanser in the morning. I just splash some water on my face and then get ready for whatever particular mask I'm going to be using. Now that's just my morning routine. And if you decide to use this mask after a long day, you definitely want to cleanse your face first in whatever method you use. Now, personally, when I cleanse, I use all natural cleansers that we can talk about in another video, including the oil cleansing method, which I can go over with you, as well as just sometimes using the masks themselves as cleansers, especially on days when I haven't worn makeup, which is most of the time. And speaking of makeup, most of these videos will be makeup free unless I'm actually showing some of the natural makeup brands that I use. On with the mask. Okay, so today we're going to be working with Pretty Young Thing. And now this is a nourishing face mask or scrub for dry, sensitive, and or mature skin. Now I fall into the mature skin category for sure at age 51. But I also have certain sensitivities and it gets red. And I do have oily patches in the T-zone area, especially over my nose and around this area. So this mask can cover all of that. But if you have particularly sensitive skin, this contains ingredients that is especially good for those with sensitive skin and also considered what most people call anti-aging, and with my NLP training, anti-aging sounds a little uncomfortable, so I'm going to call it youth promoting. So youth promoting mask as well. So as I did in the last video, I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. Oops, almost took the wrong one. And as with the last mask, this little spoon, this ceramic measuring spoon, is what I use, and it looks bigger on camera, but it is actually only a half teaspoon. That's as much as you need. And I'll just go ahead here and reach in and make my mess as usual. So I've got a little bit of a heaping half teaspoon that I put in this small glass bowl. And I find that this mask requires less liquid to make than the Great Big Sea. That's just my personal experience. And so I'm going to start with just a half teaspoon of tap water. That's all I'm using today is tap water. And maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that's going to be too thick. So we'll do a bit more. So now I've got a full teaspoon of tap water. And as with all the masks I make, you can use yogurt, you can use honey, you can use an all-natural floral water. I just wouldn't use anything like a witch hazel or anything that's got alcohol in it, because that's going to completely undo the natural sort of cleansing and hydrating effect of these clays. And I will go over those ingredients shortly. Now this is a messy mask, okay? It's got that color, and that comes mostly from the French pink clay or Australian pink clay, depending on where I could get the source. So this one I actually prefers to use a little brush. This is just a paintbrush. It is not a fancy brush. I did not pay a lot of money for it. If you're worried about what kind of brush you're using, you can absolutely go ahead and buy a face mask brush. I didn't. I don't even think this was a particularly expensive paintbrush, but you can get one at the dollar store, whatever you like. And I'll show you why I think it's better, because I really don't want all this stuff over my fingertips. So I'm just going to start applying it over my nose. And unlike the Great Big Sea, I do not put this one on my eyelids. I probably could. It's not particularly tightening, but I don't like to, because it is more of a clay consistency than the Great Big Sea, which is the one that I do occasionally put on my eyelids, both upper and lower. So we're just going to keep moving through this. And then once I've got it on, I'll go over the ingredients with you. So I am avoiding my eye area. Now this one would be perfectly safe to use on your neck and chest or décolletage or décolleté, depending on how you like to say it. And it would be very nourishing for those areas as well. Extremely youth promoting, even if it's sensitive. And if you're one of those few like myself who has sensitive oily skin, this mask would be a fantastic choice. Sometimes people assume that if you have oily skin that it's tougher, that somehow you can take more, and that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes oily skin can be quite sensitive as well. Okay. Now we're just going to let this dry. Oh, I almost forgot. I do put this one on the backs of my hands as well, because it's youth promoting, and our hands can really show our age. You can do all kinds of things to your face to help promote youth and keep it looking young and hydrated and well nourished, and then we often forget our hands. So there it is on the backs of my hands, and the nice thing is that this will dry on and it doesn't crumble and flake off like the great big C, so I can leave it on there for quite a while. And it would be perfectly safe to run all the way up your fingers, but I didn't make quite enough, so we're not going to go up that far. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about these ingredients. So the first ingredient is kaolin clay, white kaolin clay. And as I discussed, that's also a major ingredient in the great big C as well. It is a purifier and a detoxifier, but it does it gently. So that's why it's good for dry skin and sensitive skin. It does all the work of some of those tougher clays, but without all of that sucking you dry kind of effect. It purifies, detoxifies, soothes, and is partially anti-inflammatory. The next one we have in there is the French pink clay, and sometimes if I can get my hands on it, I'll use the Australian pink clay. Both of them are equally good. And pink clays are known to be great for sensitive skin. They're also very youth promoting. So they're going to be full of those antioxidants, minerals, silica, that all help to build the collagen and help with skin elasticity. Let's see what I wrote down here. It's a gentle exfoliator, reduces inflammation, rich source of silica, and cell renewal, so very youth promoting. The next clay is one of the ones that I absolutely adore, and I like to put it in a lot of things or add it to my masks that I've already got going. And that's the ultrafine glacial clay, and it's Canadian, and it's from the West Coast, which is where I found it in Vancouver, and they make it on Vancouver Island. And what it's from, why it's called glacial clay, is because it's formed from the movement and melting of glaciers. It's collected and ground up. So it's basically like a marine clay. It's going to be filled with things like phytoplankton and the kind of mineral marines that are marine minerals that really are beneficial to the skin. It's got the most positively charged ions. And if you have never heard of this before, it can sound weird to say, sorry, it's got negatively charged ions, that actually draw out all the positively charged ions of toxins and dirt and debris in your skin. So when people talk about going out and getting grounded or grounding themselves, what they're actually entering into is a negative ion environment. So hugging a tree, going barefoot in the grass, that's all negative ions. And a lot of the toxins in our body are positive ions. So the negative ions suck those out. So in this case, negative isn't a negative word. Negative is actually good for you. So you want those negative ions in the wonderful glacial clay. Now we're going to move into some of the extracts that I've put in here, and they're very, very particular. There's not a huge percentage of the extracts in each of the masks, and for those of you that might have allergies, you definitely want to have a chat, and maybe we can come up with another, an alternative, or just eliminate it altogether. The first is sunflower extract. So if you were allergic to sunflower seeds, for instance, you probably wouldn't necessarily want that in there. It's very high in vitamin E. It detoxes the free radicals. It helps to restore damaged skin, and it's anti-inflammatory. One of the other extracts is papaya. Papaya fruit extract is very high in vitamins A, B, and C, and carotenoids, which are incredibly youth promoting. All of those vitamins and the carotenoids are very youth promoting. Green tea extract. Lots of you have heard of this before. It's got those polyphenols, which is youth promoting and helps improve some sun damaged skin as well. And the last one is guava fruit extract, which is very rich, once again, in vitamins A, B, and C. And it really helps, once again, to settle inflammation and irritation in the skin. So if there's redness, if there's scarring, it can really help reduce those things. All of these products are designed to be for sensitive, dry skin. The fruit and some of the clays are designed to help draw the moisture from deep within your body up to the surface of the skin, which is why this mask isn't particularly drying at all, unlike a lot of clay masks. And one of the clay masks I have is for specifically oily skin, and that one will really suck you dry, and that's the intention. So this one, very, very good for dry, mature, sun-damaged, sensitive skin. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm going to go on with the rest of my morning and make beds and make coffee and have a good day. And before I forget, little Maudie, the kitten, is playing in the room. I'm just going to grab her and we'll both wish you goodbye. Come here, sweetie. Come on. Oh, no. Sorry, she's run under the bed. We'll have to say hello to Maudie another day. Thanks, everyone, for stopping by, and have a great day.